We all remember the day everything changed in the palace. No one saw the queen that morning. She had woken early and spent the most part of the day in the temple, refusing to be disturbed. Everyone believed the kingdom was fine and fruitful under her reign, but the queen was troubled for the fate of the royal family. Her younger son, Prince Toba, the most decent of them all, was already married, yet his wife of royal blood bore no child after being in the palace for 3 years, despite the care of the healers. Her first son, Prince Deru, didn't care about the throne. He was out in the kingdom most of the time, chasing parties, women, and adventure. He said he wanted to live before he ruled. The queen said nothing, but everyone could see the disappointment turning into fear. The queen never complained out loud, but her eyes told the story. She wanted to see her bloodline continue before she left this world. She wanted to carry her grandchild, but both princes were stubborn and blinded to their mother's fear. One evening, she called her most trusted maid into her chamber and told her to go out into the kingdom and find a woman. Her hand trembled as she placed the fate of the kingdom in the hands of a mere servant. As the gods will have it, as soon as the maid got into the city, her eyes fell on the soft beauty of Adenike, a humble woman serving customers in the marketplace with a smile and humility. She was neither too beautiful to distract nor too plain to be ignored. She was exactly the kind of woman the queen asked for, thought the maid, and so she spoke to her. "The queen wants to see you in the palace," the maid said, and Adenike froze for a moment. Then she asked, "What does a queen want with someone like me?" Adenike asked but didn't fight it, as she was led to the palace through a secret passage. When she stood before the queen the next day, she bowed so low everyone thought her head would touch the floor. The queen studied her in silence for a long time. Then she said, "Stay in the palace for a while. You'll serve in the garden wing." Adenike looked confused, but she agreed. You don't say no to a queen. And that's how it started. The queen had successfully planted Adenike in the way of Prince Deru. When he saw Adenike, he laughed mockingly. "Another one of mother's trick?" he asked, but Adenike said nothing. Days passed.
Then disobey the queen.
I can't.
Something about the way she said it made him quiet for a second, and he began to take notice of this strange but humble girl. One night, he came to the garden again. The moon was bright, and Nike was sitting alone, humming to herself. He just stood there, watching her for a long time. That night, he didn't shout. He didn't insult her. That night, Prince Deru forgot his pride. As though enchanted, he called her to his chamber and became one with her. By dawn, destiny had shifted. The prince rode off with the emissaries to broker peace with another land. But when the queen heard the news about his affair with Adenike, she only whispered,
It has begun.
Weeks turned to months, and the palace went quiet. Then one morning, a sealed message arrived for the queen. She read it once and said, "Good, the gods have answered." Adenike was with child. The queen sent a maid to hide her in a quiet farmland outside the kingdom until she gave birth. 9 moons later, she bore a son, a strong baby boy. The queen smiled and said, "Bring them home." When Adenike entered the palace with her child, the drums played softly. Prince Toba, the queen's second son, wasn't happy. He said the queen was treating a stranger like family. He said the child was a mistake that could ruin the royal line. He and his wife whispered often in corners, always looking in Nike's direction. The young prince watched everything with quiet hatred. He envied his brother's strength, envied his mother's attention, envied the woman who had borne the heir. One day, he whispered to his wife at night, "This woman, this Adenike, she must fall before she becomes the queen mother." Then, as if the gods themselves wished to mock the queen, her son, Prince Deru, returned after many months with another woman. She was beautiful, proud, and clearly in love. He introduced her as the woman he wanted to marry. The hall went silent. The queen didn't say a word. She only told everyone to leave except her sons. Then she turned to her sons. That day the queen did not rage. She ordered Adenike to be protected, and when they were alone, she turned to her sons and said, "The throne belongs to blood, not desire. Stay close to Adenike for 3 moons. Know your son. Watch the woman you brought like a king. If you still want to marry the woman you brought, you will. But if your heart turns again, then you will claim what is yours. At the end of 3 moons, you will choose your truth." Deru didn't argue, but his eyes were restless. He didn't know how to face Adenike, the woman he had once mocked, the woman who carried his blood. He didn't even remember the promises he made that night. For the first time, the prince looked upon his son and saw himself. But his heart was split between guilt and duty, between the woman who bore him a future and the woman who mirrored his rebellion. And while love twisted in the elder's heart, envy burned in the younger's chest. He watched Adenike rise under the queen's protection, and he whispered into the dark, "She will not wear that crown." That was how peace left the kingdom. Adenike had given the kingdom an heir, and in doing so, she had stepped into the storm.